Welcome to the Virgo Verdict. I'm your man Will B with co-host Karad Coin, my girl Tracy Ricks. Together, we bring it all together and we talk about different topics on social media and different things that are going on in the world. And we want your opinion and things like that as well. So chime on in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and what's the other thing? Subscribe,
Like,
comment.
Like and share.
Yeah, that what she said. So come on, y'all. Let's get going. Sherrod, what's the first topic of the day?
today we're going to talk about jumping to conclusions without knowing the facts and how it ruins relationships.
Ain't this a killer?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got 10 questions, man, that we're going to discuss. If we don't get to all 10, that's cool, but we're going to go down the line and we're just going to discuss some of these questions and we're going to give our Virgo verdict on each one of them. And I know I've done the jumping to conclusions, you know, in relationships. We all done it. And number one is, what causes us to jump to conclusions before we have all the facts?
For me, is whenever um, patterns change
Hmm.
in the relationship.
Okay.
So if we've been doing something or my partner has been doing something a particular way for a particular amount of time since we've been involved, and then suddenly stops doing that thing, um, and and does something different, like the pattern changes, that for me makes me pay attention. Like, is something going on? There is something going on. If the pattern has changed, if something has changed, then there's something going on. Now, I typically don't jump to a conclusion about what is going on, but for me, common sense tells me, oh, something is different. Something has changed.
Right.
Let me figure out or find out what the catalyst for this change is. Let me
Okay.
ask some questions.
I can dig that.
Yeah, me too. I hardly ever jump to conclusions. It has to take something that's happening for me to just to assume. You know what I'm saying? I typically don't. I typically try to find out what's happening and why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Ask questions. So I try not to jump to a conclusion. Hey, something hit me a certain way. I want to talk to you about it. So let me
Mm-hmm.
get this off my chest. I don't want to jump to any conclusion. So let me ask you because this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So some people
I do the
jump out
same
there.
thing. I do the
Yeah,
same thing, Will, because for me, I ask myself the questions first. Am I
yes,
tripping?
yeah.
Is
There
this
you go.
self sabotage? What are you going through? Because like I get something happens inside of my body that alerts me that something is wrong or something is amiss, and I explore that first. Like, okay, what am I feeling? Why? What are the possible reasons that I could have for feeling this way?
Yeah,
And if I can't resolve it with just me, that's when, because I hardly ever jump to conclusions, but I always ask. And like Will said, I acknowledge that I'm feeling a particular way. And then I go to my partner, like, hey, I'm feeling this way. Am I tripping? And
right.
then that opens up a conversation between us.
And the only time I ever jump to a conclusion is like if something is moved. You know how you put something somewhere and you go, "Hey, did you move mine?" That's the only
Mm-hmm.
time I really jump to a conclusion. I may have moved it, but it's like I know I had it right here. But did
Mm-hmm.
you happen to move it? I'm asking, did you happen to move it? Because sometimes things will get moved without you knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put it in XYZ spot, or no, I never touched it. That's about the only time I really jump to a conclusion. But other far as like
Yeah.
relationships, I always sort of contemplate and go, wait, you know what? I'm feeling a certain way. Let me bring this to somebody's attention because I don't want to assume or jump to a conclusion about whatever it is because now their feelings are involved. You feel me?
Okay.
So
Right.
let's see if we can talk it out.
Okay. I mean, I can go with both of those. I mean, basically, jumping to conclusions is about how you felt, or you might see something. I always go with your perception. I mean, my perception. I mean, your perception, my intention.
Yeah.
So you can jump to conclusion based on what you see, but then we have to be mature enough to ask the questions to see what the actual intention, what it was. You know, does my perception match your intention, or did I just mess this all up in the first place and I'm wrong? And then in that case, I can say, hey, I'm wrong. Hey, I've definitely have jumped to some conclusions before, and sometimes I'm glad I was wrong. You know, what I'm saying it's like
Mhm.
I was wrong. So, yep, it's a feeling. I think it's a feeling that we have, and you know, when people start changing their actions, like Tracy said, hey, when they change their actions, you know, we automatically think something is going awry. Hey, what man or a woman got you doing something different than what you normally would do?
Right, right.
Number two, how often do our assumptions reflect our own insecurities rather than the truth?
Ooh, wow.
I would say about 90% of the time.
I agree with you.
I would say that because,
Yeah.
you know, we're all the sum total of all of our experiences. And we get into a relationship and something happens in the relationship that is familiar to what we experienced in our previous
Mhm.
relationships. That makes any person be like, "Oh, is this that again?"
Right.
Um but again, so when I get into relationships, I get into that relationship for what that relationship is. I start every single relationship anew. Um, and I hardly ever bring in anything. What I bring from my past is the lessons that I've learned from my past, not necessarily um those past experiences, but what I've learned from those experiences. And what I've learned more than anything is to communicate. So, although, I may have experienced something in the past and it looks familiar to me and it feels familiar, that may be me um, basing what I'm feeling off of something that I have previously experienced. So that's why I always ask questions. Hey, we good? Like in my last relationship, we did weekly check-ins with each other. And this was an intentional space where we came together and talked about, are you having any issues with me? Or are you having any issues in the relationship? Is there anything that I could do better? Is there are there situations where I'm lacking? So, as long as we're communicating with each other, whatever it is that I'm feeling is either going to be dismissed or validated during those check in moments, during those conversations with my mate. So, ideally, I try to be in a relationship or be a partner in a relationship where we don't have to assume, where we can always come to each other with whatever our issues are, and it'll be met with intelligence and grace.
Sweet. Will?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I my insecurity sometimes with everything being fresh and I'm new to the scene of dating again and stuff like that, I tend to do comparisons, and that's where my thing comes in. That like if I'm involved with someone or learning to be involved with someone, I come new, like Tracy said, and I basically come with a new, let's start everything anew. But sometimes little things pop up like, damn, I was doing this in my relationship, and now I'm doing this. And am I repeating a cycle of what I was doing before? And that's where the insecurity kicks in sometimes. Like, damn, so am I making this person feel a certain way? So again, I question myself. And then I have that conversation, like you say, Tracy. You stop and you think for a minute. You say, "Hey, uh, I do not like to compare, but I found something within myself, and I wanted to know, am I making you feel a certain way? Because I remember I did something like this once before, and I do not want to repeat that action moving forward. So please let me know if I make you feel a certain way, because that's never my intention. But uh, I still have some moments where I'll fall back, and it's like make me think of that. It's like, damn, I don't need to be insecure. I'm not in that situation no more. I don't have to second guess myself on certain things or things like that. So the insecurity is a big thing sometimes, but It's all about how you deal with it and how you approach it. So that's what goes on with me sometimes.
Okay. All right. No, I agree 1,000%. Past experiences, and then our propensity to compare the old with the new, or the new with
Mhm.
the old, and hell, I know I've done it. You start thinking like, oh damn, I remember when I was in my last relationship, when a person said, did this and that and the other, this is what the outcome was, and then we start looking at the new partner like, okay, it's like now you under a microscope now. It's like I don't want that feeling again. I don't want to go through that situation again. So now I'm really watching you. Number three, what damage can be done when we accuse someone without giving them a chance to explain?
When
I
you
mean,
go
any
ahead.
damage. I mean, any damage can be done. Damage can be done. Period. When we don't give people an opportunity to explain.
But
But I
specifically,
will
what
say
kind of
this
damage?
though. Um, it depends on the relationship. It depends on the person. It depends on how you're showing up in your relationship. Um, but I will say this. So I'm very intuitive. I am clear cognizant, clear sentient. That means I be knowing shit and I be feeling shit.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes, like I would say generally, how my body responds, how my physical self responds to something. It could be a situation or a sentence, words, conversation, anything. I'm obligated to pay attention to that because that's where my truth lies. Um, when my body responds in a certain kind of way, I recognize that as my God self alerting me to something. I may not necessarily know what that thing is, but I know that when my body responds in a certain kind of way, that's an alert for me to pay attention. And then, if it persists, then to ask questions. Um, there are some circumstances where I don't need to know exactly what it is. I already know that something is wrong. Like you can tell when something is wrong in your relationship. You can tell when something is wrong, something is up with another individual, although you might not know what it is. My grandmother used to say, if something feels off and something is off, if something doesn't feel right and something ain't right, it don't matter what it is. then you come to a place where you have to make a choice. Is this relationship, so now I feel like something is off, is this relationship something that I'm really willing to work on, even though I feel that something is off? Am I willing to work toward setting right whatever I feel like is not right? It's so meaning, do I now have a conversation with this person, babe? Something is off. Something
Mm-hmm.
don't feel right. Um, what's going on? I already know, and nobody can convince me of what I already know. Like I already know something is not right. So if I'm coming to my partner, something ain't right, let's have a conversation about it. Hopefully, I'm with the kind of partner that says, yeah, babe, something ain't right. And this is what's going on. It's when your partner, when you with somebody who's trying to, trying to trick you or trying to gaslight you or trying to play you like, no, everything good. When you know everything ain't good because you can feel it. Um, but those are the instances where decisions have to be made. Like for me, on my part, like, do I keep pressing it? Do I ignore this? Because a lot of the time, most of the time, and generally, I cannot ignore it. I cannot
Yeah.
ignore what my body is telling me, what I know, to be true is true. So that's typically how I respond to those situations. I'm going to say something. If something don't feel right to me, I have to say something.
Read the question again from Shiraz so I can comprehend.
What damage can be done when we accuse someone without giving them a chance to explain?
The damage can be done is you can affect their emotional status, their psyche, because you're accusing them of something that you're not too sure of. So now they're going, where is this coming from? You know what I'm saying? And if they're an insecure person, they're gonna shut down and be in their feelings, and then their mood's gonna change and things like that. So that's some of the damage that can be done because now they're thinking like, damn, where is this coming from? Did I trigger something in him or do something or say something to make this person think that something is going on? But like Tracy said, your gut will not lie to you. Your self intuition is not gonna lie to you. When you feel something's different, your body's gonna let you know. Your energy, your aura, your frequency is gonna be like ting ling ling ling. Something's not right. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's what an adult person needs to say. You know what? Let's have a conversation. I feel something. I don't know if it's a real thing or not, but can we bring it to the table and see where it's at and where we can go with it? Because again, don't want to jump to conclusions, and I don't want to damage you because I can come off sort of harsh at times. I speak very stern and straightforward anyway. So when I say certain things, I can make a person go, I can't believe you spoke to me that way. You know what I'm saying? Because when you feeling that feeling, you come off a little, hey, come here. What the hell is going on? What's really happening, man? Because this shit, they be like, damn, back up, brother. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you can inflict some emotional and not physical, but you know what I'm saying. You can make them feel emotionally drained at times because you're putting that information on them, and they going, I'm doing everything you asked
Right.
me to do, or whatever the case may be. And now they feeling a certain way, and it can make them sick. They can go into a depressed state of mind. It's a lot of little things that can damage them if you just sort of put that on them like that. That's just my opinion of it.
That's the and I agree with that. I mean, because when you start accusing folks of things without, just giving them, I mean, you can go to a person with a situation and say, hey, I feel this way, right? Instead of just saying you did, you know,
Yeah.
we can say, hey, I feel, because I know, hey, I've been accused of things, and then I get to a point, and I've got to a point now in life, if I'm accused of anything, especially if I know I didn't do anything, I'm not explaining it. I'm not going. I'm just like, hey, whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it, because I'm not going to entertain the back and forth of explaining away your accusations. So yeah, you can cause a person to shut down and just give up altogether, and just
Yeah.
say, you know what, I can't win for losing no matter what I do. And I know through my marriage, it was like, hey, when I was being good, I was being accused, right? And it's like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. So I might as well do the thing you said I was doing. I mean, hell, I'm gonna lose anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
And we
that's how I
shouldn't be right
approached it.
there,
And it
but
wasn't right. I wasn't
yeah.
right for doing
Yeah.
it that way, but that's just how I handled that situation.
Mm.
Number
Yeah.
4, how does miscommunication feed into the habit? How does miscommunication feed into the habit of jumping to conclusions? Ms.
Miss.
Ricks.
How does miscommunication feed into the habit of jumping to conclusions? I think, miscommunication fuels jumping to conclusions. Like
Yeah.
if me and my partner don't communicate well and we communicate with, harsh words or shut down or whatever, then that could strengthen what I have already assumed.
Hmm.
So I might take your lack of communicating for validation of what I suspect is going on.
Hmm.
Like, oh, he don't want to talk about it or he's not trying to resolve anything. That means it's what I think it is. You know what I mean? So that's fuel that could support what I already think is happening
Okay.
if I'm a certain kind of person.
Right. Right.
And
Will?
if I'm in
Oh,
a
my bad.
certain kind of relationship. So if you in a relationship where you have miscommunication, y'all need to work on that. Miscommunication. You know, damn the assumption part first. The miscommunication part is what we need to work on first. That's the root cause of what the problem is in our relationship. I guarantee you, if I've assumed that my partner is cheating, the root cause of that partner cheating has to do with us miscommunicating in some way.
There we go.
So
Okay.
we have to deal with the miscommunication first before we can deal with anything else in our relationship. If you're not communicating effectively as a couple, we don't need to be a couple. Like
All right.
the assumption part is, that's nothing in the grand scheme of things because we got more important shit to work on. We
Right.
got to work on communicating with each other. We got to work on being a viable couple first.
Will?
That's one I agree with you. I agree with you on that, sister. You know, I don't have too much to say behind that.
Okay. Because I think there's two things. We have miscommunication, then we have lack of communication. And I think what I described that I do in the first one is lack of communication. Like I said, I give up. I'm not talking about it no more. I'm done, whatever. And that doesn't help the situation at all, right? And then, so the lack of communication is when nothing is said at all, silence, avoidance, or withholding important details, right? So the impact of that, it creates distance, uncertainty, and assumptions. Like Tracy just said, hey, you might validate what I'm already feeling. So the other person is left to fill in the blanks, which usually leads to misunderstanding. Then we have miscommunication, which I think a lot of us do when something is said, but it's not clear. It's misunderstood or interpreted the wrong way. So like Tracy said, hey, I get a feeling, you know, and I said, yeah, I get a feeling, when somebody did something that was similar to what somebody else did, and then all of a sudden I start, I could be wrong about my feeling. Just because I feel it don't mean it's correct. So, that lack of communication that I exhibited before may fuel what I'm feeling. The miscommunication, when we misinterpret what somebody does or said, is they're like two different things, but I think they're two of the main reasons why relationships fail in the first place, because we either don't communicate at all or we don't communicate clearly. So, number
I
five.
agree.
Number five. Why is it easier to assume the worst about someone we love rather than pause and seek clarity?
Ooh, why is it easier?
Repeat again. Repeat.
Why is it easier to assume the worst about someone we love rather than pause and seek clarity?
Because it's a self thing. When you accuse of somebody, a lot of times you got something going on within you that
Okay.
stands out, and you sort of deflect to that person, and that's how you're able to accuse instead of just pausing and looking within yourself for that clarity. Going, oh man, damn, maybe it's not them. Maybe it's something in me that's feeling a certain way, or something that I'm doing, and I'm deflecting. Like when I was stepping out, I would feel a certain way and I would deflect. Hey, what you doing out there in these streets? You was hanging out with your girlfriend and thing. I know them guys was on you, you know what I'm saying? Cause you pretty. I know they was at you. How many numbers you get? You know what I'm saying? That's deflection. Because I was out doing some shady shit in the first place. You know what I mean? So um that's why you assume sometimes, not assume, but you think the worst in somebody instead of just pausing for a minute, like you say, and just reflect, like, wait a minute, am I feeling this way because of the shit that I'm doing and I'm deflecting on her? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn,
Hmm.
that's bold as hell because she may be doing 100% everything right. And then here I come with this bullshit. And she's like, what, whoa, what's going on? So you assuming the worst in that person, not knowing exactly what the real is because you feeling something within yourself. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You beating yourself up, and now you say, "Yeah, if I'm doing it, they gotta be doing it." You know what I'm saying? They just gotta be doing it, and it's not always like that. You know what I mean? And that's how I just feel about it for sure.
Hey, one thing you said,
Um,
Will, hold on one second, hey, Tracy, because he
mm,
made me realize something when he said he was the one out there doing the dirt, but then he accused somebody else of doing it. And then there's a saying where a lot of time accusations are actually confessions.
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
come on, speak on it, Joe.
So,
mm-hmm.
hey, look, I ain't gonna lie, shit, I've been there too, been there, done that. Tracy, it's on you.
I think it's easy to assume the worst about somebody that you love because change is hard. Making changes, I know that it's hard. It's hard to change yourself,
Yeah,
and it's also hard to believe that another person can change too.
yeah,
So it's easy to assume that your mate, your partner, or whomever is stuck in their ways or doing the old thing that they used to do or reverted back to their old ways. It's easy to assume that because change is hard and being disciplined is hard. And committing to being a different person is hard. And some of us falter at that. Some of us try and fail, and so and because we think that we know, like, people that we love, we think that we know them in totality. Oh, I know, like, Will could say all day, if me and Will are dating. I'm sorry, I'm just
no,
using
no,
you as
for
an
sure,
example.
we know,
But if we are dating, let's say we've been dating for, I don't know, 7 years,
right?
and the first few years were difficult. um, and then we come to a point where, okay, we've decided, we've committed to this relationship, being in this relationship this kind of way, and that means that we're going to show up in the relationship in a certain kind of way. And then as soon as Will doesn't show up in the way that he said he's going to show up, then it's easy to assume that Will is doing what Will usually
Yeah,
does.
yeah, yeah,
It's a habit. It's a
yeah,
habit, and it's hard to accept that people can change. It's hard to accept that during the change process, people are still going to falter and do things. Um, and it's hard for you to change. It's hard for you to view your partner, especially after you've had a difficult
mhm,
season in your relationship. It's also hard to view your partner as someone who can change, as someone who can dedicate themselves to what we're trying to do as a couple. So sometimes it's just easy to say, "Oh, you doing the same old shit you used to be doing, you're used to doing," rather than, um, you know, sticking with them, sticking with this process, and seeing the whole process through. It's just, it's a discipline thing too. I think it's easier to quit. It's easier to say, oh, to blame the other person. Sometimes, because and then sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's easier to blame the other person or see fault in the other person to avoid seeing the fault in yourself.
yeah.
Now, when I look at, how is it easier to blame somebody else that we love rather than to pause and see clarity? A lot of times we base everything off of experiences, whether it's with that person that, like Tracy said, it's like whether it's with that person that we're with or somebody that we used to be with, and I think we try to, you know, beat beat the hurt to the punchline, right? I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
hurt. So I'm gonna try to head it off at the pass. So I'm gonna say you doing X, Y, and Z and this and that and the other. Or I can take this question and go back to a previous answer that I gave was, hey, I'm done talking. So that person could also say, that person could also lead you to blaming them without any clarity because they don't want to talk. They don't want to give you any type of communication about it. Maybe things have happened so often that both of y'all are just mentally tired, emotionally tired of the topic, and it's just time to let it go. You know what I'm saying? So there's a plethora of reasons why we blame our loved ones, and don't seek clarity first, because maybe we're just done with the relationship at this point, and no
Yeah, I was
matter
gonna say sometimes the relationship is just over, you
yeah,
know,
and no
and
matter
it's
what you
it's
do, it ain't gonna help.
yeah. So sometimes there comes a point where you have to say, okay, is this even worth it? Is it
Yeah.
even worth working for? Is this what I really want for me?
All right, all right. So we're gonna jump to number 7. We're rolling along in these 10 questions. What role does patience and emotional control play in preventing misunderstandings?
The primary role.
What
Say it
what
again,
what
sis.
roles does patience and emotional control play in preventing misunderstandings?
The primary role.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
The primary
we,
role.
I
She
mean,
answered with
Hey,
one,
look,
one,
hey,
one
look. I
word.
thought I thought she was asking it as a question.
Oh no, no, no,
mm-mm,
no. She's like, no,
no.
it's the primary, bro. Ain't no secondary. That's the
Yeah, it's the
first.
primary role. Because nobody is fucking perfect. Number
No,
one.
that's right.
I want somebody to give me. I'm not perfect. Some days I wake up as a grade A bitch, and I still want my partner to love me.
Yeah, man.
I
Absolutely.
might wake up to an asshole one day, and
Yeah.
even though I know my mate might be an asshole, I'm still gonna give him grace because I love him and I understand. Like, we come into relationships as us, as ourselves, and we come with all our shit. We come with all our baggage. I
Hmm.
want somebody to still love me in spite of all my shit.
No
I
doubt.
want somebody to still be patient with me in spite of all my
Hmm.
shit. I want somebody to still love and understand me in spite of all my shit. So that means that I have to give that same grace, those same concessions to my partner.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going, there's no, I don't know that there is anything that represents the textbook definition of perfection. I know people and relationships surely do not. So if we know that nothing and no one is perfect, then that means I have to show up with patience.
Yeah.
I have to
Hmm.
show up with grace.
Mhm.
I have to show up with intentional with intending to understand and meet my mate where they are.
Come on. Speak on it, sister. That
That's the
kindness.
hope. I mean,
Yeah.
because anything less, you're gonna be unsuccessful in your relationships. If you're not coming with patience and understanding, you don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
No
You
doubt.
want some fake shit.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the toxicity comes in there, because you used to that bullshit in the first place. So if you not giving that patience and that grace and that kindness, that mean you just looking for some toxicity. You just like to argue and fuss and fight
You just
because
like to argue.
yeah, that's your thing. So I can't fuck with it. So I'm always come with that patience. Take the time and just regroup, rethink, and give that grace and that kindness. So I get it. I totally agree with your sister.
Now, see, for me, I look at, patience is giving your partner room to grow, right? Because, like you said, we come into this relationship, we are who we are, and we got to learn how to compromise. You're not going to get everything you want. I'm not going to get everything I want. And, and like you said, patience is like a major thing in that, because I can get frustrated with people very easily because it's like,
Yes.
damn, they're not doing it the way that I would do it you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
It's
And
the
like you
Virgo in
said,
us.
Tracy, my
Yeah,
definition,
that's the Virgo shit.
you see what I'm saying? And then when I
Mm.
look at the word perfection, I say, hey, I am perfect. And then I am perfect based on the choices I made and how I execute those choices. So everything happens like it's supposed to. Divine purpose. Hey, Sherrod, you tripped down the steps? Yep, because I ain't lift my foot up high enough and I
There
tripped
you
like a
go.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I am perfect, but I'm flawed in my perfection. And I think we all are flawed in our perfection. And then when I think about emotional control is allowing your partner to express themselves without getting mad. Because
Hmm.
if your partner comes to you, and I'm big, I can honestly say this is one of my major flaws, is people coming to me and telling me stuff, and I'm just like, yada 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 yada. Come on, let's go. Tell me again. Express yourself again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and as they're telling me this, I know that, man, I should be better at this.
Listen.
I should be, I should be, uh, have my emotions more under control instead of just being like frustrated around. Hey, Stroud, I need this. Oh my God, I got PTSD when it comes to those conversations. I done had that conversation so many times in the past. You know what? I think we need to talk. God damn it, what?
But what
What the
I
fuck
do
you want to
now?
talk about now? Damn, you
What
didn't want to talk
now?
last night when I had time. You didn't want to talk before I was watching the game. What the fuck you want to talk about now? You know, and I know that's one of my big things, man. It's like as soon as they hit me with the,
I'm the
I want to
same,
talk.
bro. I can look at. I'm the same. What now? What?
Yeah,
Okay, I totally agree with you on that, bro. It's like, man, gotta do better, bro.
yep. We do. Number 8. How can trust be rebuilt after a false assumption has caused pain or distance?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to rebuild trust. I don't know how you rebuild trust. Because if somebody's accused me of something that I know it's at the onset of the accusation that it is false, my issue then comes, my issue then turns into, and I know I have not done anything. It's different if you know that you on some bullshit. But if I
Right.
know I've done nothing, why am I being accused of this? How am I showing up in this relationship? How has how I've shown up shown you that I'm being unfaithful, or what makes this accusation warranted? Why did you do that?
So you
Okay.
saying you can't trust that person because they made an accusation towards you and it wasn't true. So now you don't trust them as much because they made the accusation. But what if they made some changes in their life to say, hey, sister, I was wrong for accusing you of what you did. How can I make it right with you? What can I do? Because I was wrong. I love you. I want to make this work. So how can I build that trust with you again, sister? What can I do, baby?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Cause I would still be looking like, damn. So tomorrow, if you feel like, and again, if I know I've done nothing, what's gonna make tomorrow different or the next time different? How are you know like why would you accuse me in the first place?
Well,
That's where
maybe
my
I saw you
issue
moving
is.
different, baby. I saw you moving different. You changed your hair color, and you've been wearing it for a minute. You changed how you started putting yourself together. Was you doing it because you wanted to make me feel good, or was you doing it because you wanted a little change in yourself? I saw these little intricate changes in you that made me feel like
But
you were
see,
doing it for something else. So maybe that was the insecurity in me that made me lash out at you. I know we had the conversation earlier on one of those questions. So maybe that's why that issue came about and he accused you. You feel me? Now,
I get it.
with that being said, sister, I apologize. I want to
But
make this
see,
work.
I feel like that whole line should have been said before now, though, before the accusation. Like if I change my hair, if I, wearing different kinds of clothes, let's have that conversation when you notice it. You
Right?
know what I mean? Like, what's going on? You look good today. What,
Yeah, yeah.
let's talk about it then. I noticed you doing something different. Is it a new something at the office? Let's have those conversations then. But before it gets to the point where I'm actually being accused of something.
And then it goes back to that self reflection on that person because he may have an insecurity. Maybe he might be a little snippy, baby. So he was afraid to approach you and say, "Hey, I noticed you've been changing and moving a certain way, baby. Maybe you may, you snap back a little quick." So he's like, "Well, maybe let me just watch for a minute, man." But then his insecurities built up so much that he say, I know you out here seeing old boy at the office, baby. I know you are. Cause your hair, you're doing your makeup different, your body language has changed. What's really going on, Tracy? Talk to me, baby. But he done made the accusation now because it's something inside of him going, damn, she looking good. She's changing.
Mm.
But you still won't give him that chance to rebuild that trust.
I mean, I may. I just don't know at this juncture how you regain trust, though.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to regain trust. It has to be a series of things, and I don't know what those things are.
So the actions that a person may do after the accusation and time went by and y'all discussed it, and you see some changes in that person, you say, "Damn!" So sometimes those actions speak louder than those words. If you start
Mm-hmm.
seeing those actions come together, and it's like, "Damn, I feel I can trust this person again," but is it hard to trust them 100? Now, would you go like 50 to 70%? Like I trust them a little bit, but not. I'm not 100% there yet because he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't proved to me in a way that he's worth that trust. Because I still got that feeling of the accusation that he put upon me. Is that something?
Yeah. I, y'all, I am a Virgo. Okay. Once you say something to me, it's like in a certain way, it's gonna have me giving you the side eye indefinitely.
Okay.
Like I'm going to be looking at you and analyzing and dissecting everything that you say from now on when it comes to me and how I show up in our relationship because of that one event, because of that one thing. It's yeah,
So
it's
there's no forgive and let it
I'm
be.
gonna forgive and I'm gonna try to move forward in our relationship as best I can. But in the back of my mind,
Uh-huh.
this one event
Yeah.
is going to always be there.
Yeah.
It's gonna always be there.
Okay. Okay. I,
I
I was
know.
reason I was asking because we Virgos in this, and that's why I was challenging because sometimes you have to go through those conversations like you and I just had. What can
Mm-hmm.
we do? How can we get it together? Because I made the accusation. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do? Because I fucked up, baby. You told me you're not doing it. I believe you. I trust you. I want to trust you. So you show
And I
me
want
that
to
it is.
trust, especially if I'm in a relationship that I want to be in. I want to trust my mate.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't like being in a relationship where I'm being accused of something, where I'm not being so. Because for me, it's deeper than that. It lets me know, oh, you don't really see me as
Yeah,
who I
yeah,
am.
yeah.
You don't see
Uh,
me. You're filtering your perception of who I am through something else because that's not me.
right.
So for me, that's where the issue lies. You don't really see me. If you think I'm somebody that could fucking cheat on you or do whatever I've been accused of
Right.
doing, then you don't know me. And
Roger.
that's where my issue is.
And I get that. I get that. I'm glad we discussed it like this because I, I I've been through some things. So I'm just like, okay, let me ask you. Let
Mm-hmm.
dig into it a little bit. Right? What you got to say on it, bro?
Uh, how can you rebuild the trust after a false assumption has been made? I guess it's just the way you move your actions from that point forward. If I'm accused of doing something and I didn't do it, you know, I guess the best thing you could do for me from here on out is, back up, just let me move how I move. If you still feel later on that I'm doing what it is you said you accuse me of, I mean, you just got to
We
move
gotta
on.
we gotta call it quits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta call it quits because we cannot have a successful relationship like that.
Right, for sure.
You
Trying
don't
to get
trust
clear.
me, and I can't be in a relationship where I'm constantly being accused of
Yeah.
something. So
Right.
that means we got to separate.
Understood. Understood.
Okay.
Number 9. What practical steps can couples, friends, or family take to confirm facts before reacting?
Okay, that was a big question. Run it again.
What practical steps can couples take to confirm facts before reacting?
Have a conversation.
Yeah. Like me and
Have a
Tracy were just
conversation.
doing. Yeah.
Have a conversation.
Like we were just talking back and forth. That's
Yeah.
something
Communication.
that needs to be done. That's
Yeah. Just
real.
have a conversation
Yeah.
and show up to the conversation um, without assuming that the person is wrong before you get there.
Yeah. Open ears and open heart.
Yeah,
Where
be
you can just
open to, yeah, just be
listen.
open, but
Communication
have a
will change.
conversation.
Yeah. You gotta
Communication will
listen. You
change. You
can't be
got to
just
Yeah,
talk.
you gotta
listening
listen.
to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to
Yes, listen to
communicate.
understand.
And then you have to, once y'all have that communication, though, after after we had that talk, now I got to see some action. I got to see
There
some
you go.
change.
Yeah.
You know, trust
Yeah.
me. I done been in that boat, man, where I done
Boy.
had that conversation
Boy.
over and over and over again. And hell,
Yeah.
either I didn't make the change, that person didn't make the change, or changes were made and they were not seen,
Yeah.
or just
Boy,
overlooked
that's the
purposely, or
big one
whatever.
right there. Changes being
Yeah.
made wasn't seen. That makes you feel a certain way. Come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
man. That you
Yeah, like I've been
did all
doing
this
all this
motherfucking
work.
work? All this
Yes.
motherfucking work and you ain't even acknowledge this
You
shit?
ain't even
I mean, I wasn't doing it
acknowledging
for the
this.
acknowledgement, but god damn, give me some type of credit.
Yeah.
Right. Do you know how hard it was for me to change?
Hey, big shit. I put forth some effort in this shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Number 10, last but definitely not least, why is giving the benefit of the doubt a strength, not a weakness, in a relationship?
Oh,
Well, I don't have, when I'm in a relationship, I don't have ownership over my mate.
Okay.
So when I send my mate out in the world, it's allowing them to be them, allowing them to show up in the world however they feel like they need to show up in the world. The onus is on me to n- make. I have to be under the assumption that my mate is who they say they are, that my mate is abiding by the tenets of the relationship that we set forth when they're not in my presence. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that when they leave up out of my presence, when they leave up out of the house, they're going to show up in the world as my mate and do what I think is right by us, by our relationship. That means that I trust them.
Right.
I trust their words. I'm trusting what they have told me that they would do. Um, and when I show up in my relationship in that way, then that fortifies what we have because it's a trust builder. I'm building trust. I'm establishing trust. When I don't give my mate the benefit of the doubt, it causes chaos and disruption in your relationship. When I send my mate out in the world and they come back and now I want to smell your drawers,
Oh, yeah.
that's no relationship.
Yeah.
That's no relationship somebody wants to be in where they come home and they under scrutiny.
Hey, no,
The
they
only
don't.
time that I'm not going to give my mate the benefit of the doubt
Oh, shit.
is when they've done something that takes away that benefit.
hmm
Hey, you know what?
When it's been proven that they have violated our relationship in some way. But
Hey,
if
I
it's
had a.
not been proven, if it's just an assumption on, if I'm just going around here assuming, then nah. I think giving my mate the benefit of the doubt is giving them the comfort in knowing that our relationship is the heaven that they need it to be, and
And,
vice versa.
and you said something that brought back a conversation I had with a coworker of mine, and she said every time she come home, her man wants to smell her panties.
What the?
Right? Every
That's some
time she came home
insecure
from work,
craziness there, man.
she would have to pull him off, and he would smell him. I'm like, he does know you've been walking around for like 8 to 10 hours, right? he,
Right.
he does realize that, right? She was like, nope. He want to smell my panties, my pants, And I'm like, how old
But
is
for
this
what
motherfucker?
though?
Why are you with this mud jumper if he got to do all of that?
Well,
You know what I
it
mean?
depends. Does he just like the way she smells? Does
No,
he
no, no,
have
It
a
no, no,
better
no.
panty
not be
smelling
gay.
She,
fetish?
no.
Or
It's not
is
the
he trying to
fetish.
smell for dick because
He
dick don't have a smell?
he trying to
So
smell for sex. That's what he's trying to smell
he
for.
trying to
And
smell for condoms, the condom
hey,
smell,
I don't know. I mean,
because
they don't smell. They have a smell.
dick don't have a
hey,
smell.
Dick better not
Vagina
smell.
has a smell.
It better not smell.
Dick
I
better
could
not
see a
smell.
woman
It better not
saying,
smell, but you
"Let
know.
me smell your drawers," because vagina has a very distinct
Yeah,
smell.
yeah.
Right,
But
exactly.
dick,
Yeah.
if dick got a smell, is something wrong.
I'm
That's
wrong,
an
exactly.
infection.
You got
So
something
I
definitely
want to
going
know, what
on.
is he smelling for? Is he smelling for condom smell, or is he
I
smelling
Hey,
for
don't know.
STD smell? Because those are the only two things that's gonna come off other than vagina smell.
I'm just trying to say that's it made me. I went right back to that conversation. She was like, every day I get home from work, I gotta strip down. I'm like, why would you even put yourself through that?
Right, that's what
Why
I'm
do
thinking.
that?
Like,
I'm not doing
it,
that unless my man has I like the way your panties
yes,
smell
like,
fetish.
I feel you, like, babe, I like that sweat that you have. Come here,
Yeah,
baby.
then
Take them
Yeah,
I'm
off.
happily. I can't wait to get home and take my
Yes.
panties
Go
off.
to the room. Get to the
you
room.
know.
I'm
I know
getting
you
there.
just getting in, but stay big. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, look,
I'm
hey,
going.
Will,
I
hey,
can't wait
Will.
to get home.
Yes.
Ah,
But if
Ooh.
it's anything other than that, I can't be with you, homeboy.
That shit's
I would
crazy,
rather
man.
deal with a
That shit's
fetish, a
wild.
panty smelling fetish, than a distrust,
oh
you
yeah, oh yeah,
know,
oh yeah.
Yeah,
where
I
that's
mean,
there's
we,
no
wild.
trust. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's imperative to give your mate the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think so too.
Unless you know that you would have somebody that ain't shit, then I think it's imperative to give your mate the benefit of the doubt because they
Yeah.
deserve it. Why not?
And if they ain't shit, you shouldn't even be there.
You shouldn't be.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Speak on it, bro.
Yeah.
Speak on it,
So
sis, for sure. For sure. Because the benefit of the doubt is me saying that, hey, you're a representation of me when you're out there in the world. How you representing me? If
Mm-hmm.
motherfuckers gonna see you out there and they gonna be calling Tracy like, yo, baby, I saw Sherrod out there. Woo! They not, oh, did you? You know what I'm saying? Like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
you supposed to be representing me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Yes.
I gotta give you the benefit of the doubt. Because you're gonna do what you want to do anyway.
You're
So
gonna
let
do
me
what you
just,
want to do anyway.
when you come back, I'm open arms. Hey, baby, how you doing? How was your day? I gave you the benefit of the doubt right there because you came back. Hey, you right
Mm.
back here in these
And
room.
I say all the time though, it don't matter what you was doing when you wasn't with me. What's important to me is what happens when we together.
Bingo.
How we treat
all
each
right.
other, how you treat me, how I treat you. I don't care what you did, what you was doing out there.
That's why I say
When we
we
get
should
home, is it heaven?
be.
That's
Yeah,
all that matters.
that's it. For sure.
All
All right,
right.
y'all.
Hey, man, that was a
So,
great.
what y'all think
Come on.
about the 10 questions? Please, please, please let us know your opinions and if you have some responses to the questions that were posed today.
I'm gonna put the
Remember to
questions in the
like, share,
description.
and subscribe. Also, put it in the chat. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's
And
kick it.
if it's lengthy, then email us at the virgoverdict@gmail.com. So until next time, y'all, peace.
Lucid.
Peace.